Welcome inside Gillette Stadium, everybody. My name is Mike Petraglia, joined, as always, after every Patriots game by Chris Price of WEEI.com, Patriots expert columnist for WEEI.com. You, me, and Ryan Hannibal saw quite the upset tonight, I thought. 31-24, the Seattle Seahawks hang on, reverse the outcome at the end of Super Bowl 49. I should say a year and a half later after Super Bowl 49 in Glendale. And there's so much to talk about as this game unfolded. Bill Belichick after the game saying there were 100 plays you could micro-analyze. We would be here all night breaking down every significant play that took place in this game. But, Chris, I got to tell you, Bill Belichick early in the week said there isn't a tougher, mentally tougher, physically tougher team in the NFL than the Seattle Seahawks. And Russell Wilson proved that tonight.
Yeah, 3 touchdown passes coming through time and again with the game on the line. Look, you can say what you want about the Patriots' defensive effort, and I'm sure we'll talk a lot about that. But at the same time, Wilson came through tonight in a big way for his team, a team that really struggled to run the ball over the first half of the season. He's able to turn in a really big performance tonight on a big stage. I'll say this, too. Unless someone gets injured, unless something weird happens, unless something crazy happens with these two teams, there's every reason to believe that these are going to be the two teams left standing at the end. Mental, physical, toughness, whatever you need across the board, offense, defense, special teams, these are the two teams that, to my mind, are the two best teams in the NFL at this point.
All right, let's get some notable injuries out of the way, first of all. And they are not significant injuries as far as them playing in the game. Rob Gronkowski and Tom Brady were able to finish this game and be somewhat productive, although they couldn't finish it off at the very end, of course, as Rob Gronkowski looked for the pass interference penalty in the end zone. It was not called. He said, look, it wasn't called. You asked the question, it wasn't called. But Rob Gronkowski got the wind knocked out of him on a vicious hit by Earl Thomas in the second quarter. Tom Brady had his right knee hit by Kam Chancellor on a safety blitz off the corner. He blew by Marcus Cannon and ran into the knee. Tom Brady limped a little bit. He was flexing that knee in the third quarter. He stayed in the game. Gronkowski came back. But I got to tell you, Chris, when those two players get hit the way they did tonight, it's it's a reason for cause for concern.
Yeah, it really, really is. When you consider the overall value, look, we've gone over this a million times. The overall value of both of those players to this franchise is absolutely immeasurable. And so when those guys get hit, when they suffer a big hit, Gronkowski said he just got the wind knocked out of him, and he was able to come back later on in that same drive. The shot to Brady's knee, there were some people on Twitter who were saying, look, it's knee, it's thigh, whatever the case may be. When your quarterback takes a hit like that, in this instance, it's very, very difficult. At the same time, when you look at what these guys tonight were able to do, this was big boy football. There's only probably, in my estimation, maybe 5 teams who can play a game like this. Mean, tough, physical, nasty on both sides. Both of these teams rose to the occasion, and it took until the very last minute to determine the outcome, to determine the winner tonight.
All right, I'll say it right here, right now. I had a problem with the way the Patriots handled their last couple of plays. First of all, on third down, Tom Brady, and he admitted this to us post-game, fumbled the ball on the quarterback keeper, and they lost they lost a yard and then got that yardage back when Seattle was called for too many men on the field. Then on fourth down, the way these two teams play, to expect the official to make that call and bail him out in the end zone on a fade throw to Gronkowski. If Gronkowski runs a couple of yards off the line of scrimmage and then Brady throws it to him for a jump ball, that's something altogether different. But you're asking Rob Gronkowski to, as he said, Gronk said after the game, get up on the toes of the defender and then look for the call and then go after a fade. That's a low percentage call there.
The irony of this is not lost on anyone, I think, as we sit here tonight. I don't know why you're not giving the ball to LeGarrette Blount in that situation. LeGarrette Blount is one of the best short yardage rushers in the league. He is one of the best red zone runners in the league, really over the last year plus, other than the injury he suffered. I don't know why the Patriots aren't going to LeGarrette Blount in that situation. My thought is that they were trying to draw the flag. They were trying to draw the penalty. They weren't successful. Look, holding, offensive pass interference, defensive pass interference, whatever the case may be in that situation, you should never put yourself in a position to allow the referees to determine the outcome of a game. I think the Patriots were off base in this one when it came to those last couple of play calls. They should have given it to Blount in that situation. Give it to him inside the one. He's the guy. He's the closer. He's the short yardage back. Use him in that situation.
I'm going to tell you what the Patriots are going to tell you and what Bill Belichick and Josh McDaniels will tell you. They didn't get the right look. They were looking for a specific look from the Seattle defense, didn't get it, and Seattle had been stopping LeGarrette Blount quite a bit on short yardage situations.
Live or die with him. Live or die with him in that instance.
So it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. There are times where you're going to need to get a yard, and you're going to have to rely on that guy to get you that yard. LeGarrette Blount is that guy. Rely on him. Lean on him. He's your horse. He's your closer. He is your big back. If you can't get that 1 yard in that situation, you don't deserve to win the football game.
All right, defense, secondary. It's going to be a long night for Josh Boyer, the DB's coach, and they have so much to correct in that secondary. Let's face it, Logan Ryan and also Justin Coleman, neither of them had a very good game. Justin Coleman got burned for 36 yards in the first quarter by Tyler Lockett. Then he got burned for another big pass interference on Lockett that extended a drive for Seattle. Both of those drives ended in field goals. The end of the first half, that touchdown, that second touchdown to Doug Baldwin, the Patriots were running around in circles. Logan Ryan was nowhere to be found. And, Chris, I don't know. We'll look at the tape, obviously, and so will the coaches, obviously. But I can't imagine Patrick Chung had Baldwin in coverage there.
No, I can't imagine he had him in coverage. I think that when you look at the breakdowns across the board at the cornerback position, at the safety position, that led to big gains consistently, the types of big gains that we haven't seen all season long from this team, I think it's distressing. I think that, the flip side is, of course, that the rest of the AFC is such a hot mess. I don't think it's going to matter, quite frankly. The Patriots are going to be able to score 30 points a game on most teams, most nights.
Let me stop you there, though.
But that's the kind of thing, though, that you need to tighten up before the end of the year. You can't just go into December, in January, and hope that it's all going to start to gel magically. You're going to need to get a better performance from the back end of that cornerback specifically. Let's talk about it, too. The safeties, were okay. At first glance, we're okay. The cornerbacks were the group that had the problem. You need to be able to identify 2 or 3 cornerbacks because there are going to be teams out there in the postseason who are going to be able to go after your second cornerback, your third cornerback, your fourth cornerback in these types of situations. Like I said before, the AFC, most of the AFC right now is a hot mess. But at the same time, you're going to go into situations against teams that have a deep passing attack. You're going to be able to really, this is a team that needs to shore up the back end of that cornerback depth chart sooner rather than later.
Patriots look like they can't make up their mind if it's Eric Rowe or Justin Coleman. Eric Rowe is a healthy scratch coming into this game, and I think that's cause for concern. What I was going to stop you before about was this team started 10-0. Chris, and there are a lot of gun-shy Patriots fans out there who didn't want to buy completely in when this team got off to the great start, even without Tom Brady, and we're 7-1 going into the bye. The reason is what happened at the end of last year. Would you not agree?
Yeah, exactly. I think part of the reason, the reason, to go back to last year, I think the fatal flaw of that team was the offensive line. And now I think the offensive line, you feel pretty good about where they are.
Okay, not great.
You're okay. How about this? You feel better now than you did at the end of the year last year?
Maybe. I mean, after what I saw from Marcus Cannon, I still think they're giving up too much pressure up the middle, and good teams with a lot of corner pressure like we saw tonight can get to Brady.
I think that the bar right here, the bar at the end of the year last year was here. Yeah, it's up. It's okay. I'll say that. I don't think the offensive line is the number one issue on this team. I think it's the secondary situation. I think right now, the back end of that depth chart, like I said, the cornerback, the second cornerback, the third cornerback, the fourth cornerback, you have to be able to identify those guys, and those guys have to be able to step up sooner rather than later.
All right, that will be a wrap here inside Gillette Stadium. Bill Belichick said there was a ton to talk about. I will tell you this, Chris, that it was about as long as a Bill Belichick press conference after a regular season loss as I've seen in quite a while. We all remember the press conference after the Denver loss in 2013 when he was up there like 20 minutes. But tonight, Belichick was very patient. He was looking into the audience for people to continue to ask questions, and the questions continued, and most of them were about the defense.
Yeah, it was. And this is a situation that needs to be remedied. Like I said, you look at the rest of the AFC and you feel good about where you are if you're a Patriots fan. But the long-term prognostication is right now this is not a championship secondary. I'll say that. That's probably the best way to define it coming out of this game because it's good enough to win. Let's say this team should go 13-3 the rest of the way.
You're sounding a lot like 2012 all over again.
Yeah, I mean, this is a team that should go 13-3 right now. You look at it the rest of the way, they're going to lose one more game. They'll figure out some way. They always lose that game, whether it's the end of the year last year, the last game of the season, or whatever the case may be. That's good, and you're going to get the number 1 seed. You're going to get the number 2 seed. You're going to be at home, but is that good enough to be able to vault you to where you need to get to? Lou Merloni has fallen back on this phrase a number of times, and I think it's absolutely apropos when you're talking about this team right now. They need to win 2 games. They need to win the AFC Championship game, and they need to win the Super Bowl. Those are the 2 games. Is this secondary good enough to win you those 2 games? That's the question you have to ask yourself right now.
All right, the Patriots are 7-2. They now hit the road. They have to go cross-country like the Seattle Seahawks did on short rest this week after beating Buffalo, and they pulled it off tonight here, beating the Patriots 31-24. Now the Patriots have to go cross-country, take on the 49ers, who really gave the Arizona Cardinals a scare before losing by a field goal 23-20 on Sunday. So maybe the 49ers aren't the joke everybody thought they might be a couple of weeks ago. Yeah, they're a joke. But certainly the Patriots are going to be favored heavily in that game. I don't care if that game is in San Francisco or in Santa Clara or on the moon. The Patriots will be favored, and they really should bounce back and win that game next week. We'll have complete coverage leading up to that game on WEEI.com, the It Is What It Is blog. Chris Price, Ryan Hannibal, and yours truly, of course. And we'll have complete coverage tonight from the Patriots locker room and reaction from Richard Sherman and the Seattle locker room from Ryan Hannibal. Once again, the final, the Patriots drop one to the Seattle Seahawks, 31-24. He's Chris Price. I'm Mike Petraglia, WEEI.com.